Beloved, before we go anywhere today, I want you to pause. Not metaphorically, I mean actually pause. Take a breath, let it land in your body, and just arrive here. Because today is not about rushing forward. It's not about consuming another idea or collecting another insight. Today is about something far more simple and far more confronting. The Vibe Shift podcast has crossed over 1,000 downloads, and in that last week alone, 118 moments where someone chose to press play. Let's not rush past this. 118 times someone stopped what they were doing and said, I'm willing to listen. But here's what's been sitting with me, not as a celebration, but as a question. Out of those 1,000 plus moments, how many turned into something more? How many became a conversation? Not a comment, not a like, not a passive nod of agreement. I mean a real moment where something inside you said, wait, this is for me. This is about me. And instead of moving on, you stayed. You listened deeper. You responded. Because here is something we don't talk about enough. Resonance is not the end of the experience. It's the beginning of a responsibility. When something resonates with you, it is not random. It is not casual. It is not just content doing its job. It's life knocking. But most of us have learned how to ignore the knock. We become incredibly skilled at it. We feel something and then we scroll. We hear something and then we distract. We recognize truth and then we minimize it. Not because we don't care, but because something in us is not yet ready to respond. Because responding means something changes. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really feel this question, not just hear it. How many moments have you had where you knew something needed your attention and you gave it nothing? How many times have you felt clarity and chosen confusion instead? How many times have you stood at the edge of truth and stepped back into comfort? Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because responding requires something from you. It requires presence. It requires honesty. It requires a willingness to no longer pretend you didn't feel what you felt. And if you're here right now listening to this, I want you to consider something. You're not here by accident. Not in a everything happens for a reason cliche way, but in a very real, grounded way. Something in you chose this moment. Something in you said, listen to this. And the question is not, what do you think about it? The question is, what are you going to do with what you feel right now? And I want to give you a moment here, not filled with words, but filled with awareness. What is happening inside you right now? Is there a thought you've been avoiding? A feeling that you've been pushing down? A truth that has been quietly waiting for you to acknowledge it? Don't rush past it. Stay with it. Because this is the moment that matters. This is what Vibe Shift is. It's not a podcast. It's not content. It's not something you listen to and move on from. It is a space where you meet yourself, and that meeting only comes real when you participate in it. So today I'm asking something different of you. Not to agree, not to follow, not to consume, but to respond. Respond to yourself. Respond to what you are feeling. Respond to the moment that is happening inside of you right now. And if you feel called, respond here, with me, with this space, with this community. Say something, even if it's simple, even if it's messy, even if it's just, I felt something. Because that is where the shift begins. And if what you're feeling right now is deeper than a moment, If it feels like something is opening or asking for more, then take that step. Not because you should, but because something in you is ready. Click the link in the show notes. Let it be a continuation, not a transaction. 1,000 downloads is not the milestone. This is. The moment you stop ignoring what you feel, the moment you stop observing your life from a distance, the moment you step into it fully. Beloved, this space is open. This conversation is alive, and it has been waiting for you long before you press play. So I'll ask you one more time, not as a speaker, but as someone sitting with you in this moment. What are you going to do with what you just felt?